Yo, what's up, y'all? Out there in video land, everybody on YouTube, Facebook, Vimeo, wherever you're checking out this video. Um, this is Think About It, and I'm Simply D, and I want you to think about it. A couple things I gotta say. The first thing I wanna comment on the Eagles. The Eagles played last night. It was a good game. They played Tampa Bay, and basically we won. That's all there is to say about that. We won. They didn't play. They weren't like what we used to seeing, that high-powered offense, but the defense played better. The offense was decent. Nick Foles, I thought did a decent job. He wasn't stellar, but I thought he did a really decent job. I do have a problem with him floating some balls. He float them up real high. They hang up there for a long time. He doesn't have the rifle that Michael Vick has, and he doesn't have that escapability that Vick has. That being said, he got the job done. I mean, he ran in for a touchdown. He threw two, one to, I think, both of them to Deshaun Jackson. So he got the job done. And I said I wasn't going to criticize too much when they won. I was just going to sit back and enjoy the win, and that's what I'm going to do. But to get to my point of making this video, me and a coworker today, we were talking about accountability and how people don't hold themselves to a high standard, man. And by a high standard, I mean people are not accountable. They don't hold themselves accountable. They don't hold their children accountable. And particularly young people. Young people, they don't hold themselves. I mean, basically, accountability means to be responsible. You know what I'm saying? Hold yourself responsible for your actions. And young people don't do that anymore. I've experienced this particularly in my own family with my children. My children, they're not bad people, but they don't have a standard of accountability. They don't hold themselves responsible for anything. Anything that happens in their lives, it's usually somebody else's fault. That's not the case, but that's in their minds is somebody else's fault. They don't take responsibility for their own actions. They don't see that your actions bring repercussions. You have to be accountable. You can't just say, I'm this way because of this, or I'm this way because of that. You're that way because that's what you want to do. You've made a decision. In particular, an example I would have is my nephew. Let me give you a little background on my nephew. My nephew is my brother's son. My brother died 5 years ago, approximately 5 years ago. My brother was a man of the streets. He did a lot of worldly things. He was out there in the streets doing a lot of bad. He had good in him. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got good and bad. I think he had a little more bad than good. But, he was generally, if you knew him, he was a good person, but he did a lot of bad things. He robbed people. He sold drugs. He did a lot of different things that were not conducive to being a good person. Now, my nephew, he's 22, maybe 23 years old. Now he's following in his father's footsteps, doing bad things, robbing people, smoking weed, selling weed, doing these things. Now, he doesn't really have the right to say, well, I'm like this because this is the way my father was. Yeah, that's the kind of man your father was, but that you have every opportunity not to be that way. Your father is dead. He didn't make you go out there and sell drugs or rob people or whatever. This is a choice that you've made, a decision that you consciously made to be the way you are. You know what I'm saying? So, and that just goes to accountability, man. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you want to do, if you want to go out and be in the streets and be a prostitute or a drug dealer or armed robber, that's your choice if that's what you want to do. But be accountable, man. Have some accountability. Don't say I'm this way because of this person. My mother was a crackhead or my father was a crackhead. No, you this way because that's the way you want to be. Stop bitching about somebody else made you this way, because nobody you made you this way. And it gets on my nerves, and it really irks me to hear these young people making up these excuses of why they are the way they are. Not just young people, but from my own experience, primarily young people. They don't have no accountability, man. They don't know what accountability is. Growing up, my mother and my grandmother, all my uncles, my aunts, they all made sure we, especially I had an aunt that lived in New York. Her name was Samantha. My Aunt Sammy, we used to call her. She held you responsible for your actions, down to the way you spoke. She used to always correct our speech. And I know this is trivial, but for me, it's not. She used to correct our speech, and she used to tell me that, you need to learn how to speak properly, because you can't blame you're not speaking well on somebody else. Not when you know how to speak. You can't say, well, my parents spoke like this, so this is the way I'm going to speak, or this is the way I speak because of my parents. No, learn how to speak better. And in short, take responsibility for your actions. And I know that's a trivial example, but I think it's a good example because it shows, that the older people knew what accountability was. They knew that you had to be responsible, because if you sit back and blame everybody else for the things in your life, you're not going to progress at all. You're never going to progress, because you're going to feel like everything that happens to you, everything that's not happening to you that you want to happen, is somebody else's fault. So you can just sit back and blame everybody else. Well, I'm not a success because my mother, she didn't push me to be a success. I'm not a success because my father wasn't a success. I take after my father, So you sit back and you just blame everybody else for your lack of success and movement in your life, because you're not being responsible, you're not being accountable for your own actions. Come on, people, you know what I'm saying? Let's be responsible for ourselves. Black people are great ones for doing that. The white man do this to us. The white man, I heard a man say, I can't get no job because the white man put me in jail. Really? Really? The white man put you in jail? I thought doing crimes put you in jail. You know what I'm saying? The white man didn't come to your house. You ain't did nothing. The white man come to your house and just lock you up and take you off to jail. No, you went to jail. You went to prison because you were committing crimes. Now you come out and you saying, well, I can't get a job because I don't have no education. I don't have a high school diploma. I don't have a college degree, and I've been to jail. You know what I'm saying? Be accountable. Be accountable. Be accountable for your own actions and go out there and make something happen. You know what I'm saying? You ain't making nothing happen, so you want to blame other people. You want to sit back, smoke weed, and say it's somebody else's fault. It's not anybody else's fault. It's your fault. Stop bitching about you ain't got nothing because of somebody else. We got to stop doing that. You know what I'm saying? I went kind of on a tirade there. I'm sorry about that. But it's a really hot subject for me, because especially being a black man and being around black people, I know that there's a lot of people that do that, but the people that I'm around mostly are black people. I have white friends, I have Asian friends, but the people that are primarily in my life are my family, which are mostly all black, and I hear these comments they make about, this person is holding me back, or this thing is holding me back, or my husband is holding me back. That's not the case, man. You know what I'm saying? Have some responsibility. It just gets me where I'm almost speechless about it. You know what I'm saying? Like my wife is a person that, and I know I mentioned her in my last video, but she's a pretty cool person. My wife is a person that a lot of things have happened to her, a lot of things, and she rarely, if at all, ever blames somebody else for the things that happened to her. My wife, she was adopted, and didn't know her family, her biological family, for 43 years. You know what I'm saying? And she did some things in her life that, that she might not be that proud of. But she don't blame not knowing her family on that. She don't say, well, if I would have knew my real family, I wouldn't have done some of the things I've done. No, she doesn't do that because she holds her own self accountable. You know, she knows she's responsible for her own actions. And that's what we got to do. We got to learn to be responsible and stop blaming other people. You know, blame just begets blame. You know, you're going to sit there and be stagnant and keep blaming somebody else, and you're just going to be cool with it because you don't have to have when you pass in the buck, you have no accountability. You don't have to do anything because you believe in you're trying to convince me that I'm trying, but it's because of somebody else that I'm not succeeding. No, you just not succeeding because you're not trying. So, yeah, that's my little tirade for this evening, for this week. If you have any thoughts on it yourself, any comments, questions, I welcome comments, positive or negative. Like I told y'all, I'm out here. I'm waiting for y'all. Hit me up. Hit me up. I just want some feedback. I want to know what y'all think of what I'm talking about. I want to know what y'all think. Tell me what you think about it. You know what I'm saying? Give me some kind of response. Give me some questions. I'll try to answer your questions. I'll do the best I can. Again, hit me up on Facebook. I'll give y'all my Facebook if you don't know it. Check out the last video. Hit me up on Facebook. I'm also tweeting. I don't tweet as much as I should, but I'm definitely tweeting. So hit me up on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, my email. I'm there for y'all. So hit me up. This Friday night, October 18th, I think it's Friday, October 18th. If it's not Friday, it's Saturday, but it's October 18th. I will be at Freddy's Tavern up on Route 13 in Bristol, PA. It's gonna be me, myself. I'm gonna have Omar Scruggs, Tony Viejo, who else? Rick Roboton, my love protege, and oh my goodness, I forget who else. But it's gonna be a hot show. Come check us out. The admission is only $10. It's gonna be a hot show. Check me out before I get hot, before I get big, before I get famous and blow up, and you have to pay $100 to come see me. Check me out. Yo, I'm going to be out of here. My name is Simply D, and this is Think About It. Peace.